Imagine a loving mother vanishing without a trace, leaving behind two young children and a husband with a chilling secret. This is the story of Susan Powell, a disappearance that still haunts the nation. Susan Cox Powell was a vibrant young woman married to Josh Powell, with whom she had two beautiful sons. But beneath the surface, their marriage was far from perfect. Susan was known for her warmth, friendliness, and dedication to her children. She was an active member of her community and church, where she forged strong connections and friendships. However, her relationship with Josh was far from ideal. Josh was controlling, manipulative, and often dismissive of Susan's feelings. These issues, coupled with financial strains and Josh's erratic behavior, placed immense stress on their marriage. Friends and family members noticed Susan's increasing anxiety and fear about her future. Despite her efforts to maintain a semblance of normalcy, the tension within the Powell household was palpable. Susan's disappearance in December 29 would later reveal just how deep these issues ran. On the evening of December 6, 2009, Susan Powell disappeared from her home in West Valley City, Utah, without a trace. Josh Powell's account of the night was peculiar and troubling. He claimed he had taken their young boys on an impromptu camping trip in the middle of a freezing winter night, leaving Susan at home. His story immediately raised suspicions among friends, family, and law enforcement. Neighbors reported seeing Josh and the boys return home late that evening, yet Susan was nowhere to be found. Josh's nonchalance and lack of urgency in reporting her missing only added to the suspicions. Friends who knew Susan well were convinced that she would never voluntarily leave her children behind, especially without any warning or goodbye. In the days following her disappearance, police and volunteers conducted extensive searches of the surrounding areas, but no significant leads emerged. The community was left in shock, grappling with the sudden loss of a beloved friend and neighbor. As the investigation continued, the focus shifted increasingly toward Josh and his possible role in Susan's mysterious disappearance. The investigation into Susan's disappearance quickly turned its focus on Josh Powell. Detectives uncovered a series of disturbing details about his behavior and the toxic dynamics within the Powell family. Josh's father, Stephen Powell, became a person of interest due to his obsessive infatuation with Susan, evidenced by a collection of inappropriate photos and videos he had taken of her. Police interviews and evidence photos painted a grim picture of the Powell household, where dark secrets and dysfunctional relationships were the norm. Josh's behavior grew increasingly erratic during the investigation. He moved to Pile Up, Washington, with his sons, distancing himself from the ongoing search efforts. This move, combined with his refusal to cooperate fully with law enforcement, further fueled suspicions. Investigators discovered troubling evidence, including Susan's handwritten journals and emails detailing her fears and concerns about her marriage and her safety. Stephen Powell's obsession with Susan was uncovered through a series of disturbing discoveries. Authorities found a stash of Susan's personal items, along with voyeuristic photos and videos that Stephen had secretly taken of her. His fixation added another layer of complexity to the case, suggesting that multiple family members might have been complicit in Susan's disappearance or, at the very least, aware of critical details they were withholding. The more investigators delved into the Powell family's history, the more alarming the findings became. Stephen Powell was eventually arrested and convicted on charges of voyeurism and child pornography, yet the mystery of Susan's disappearance remained unsolved. The case took a devastating turn in February 2012 when Josh Powell, under scrutiny and facing the loss of custody of his sons, committed a final heinous act. During a supervised visit with Charlie and Braden, Josh locked a social worker out of his home and deliberately set it on fire, killing himself and his two young sons in the explosion. This tragic event left the nation in shock and deepened the mystery surrounding Susan's disappearance. The events leading up to the explosion revealed a man driven to desperation. Josh had lost custody of his sons to Susan's parents, Chuck and Judy Cox, due to concerns about the boys' safety. On the day of the explosion, Josh displayed erratic and suspicious behavior, refusing to allow the social worker inside and attacking her with an axe before igniting the fatal fire. This horrifying act underscored the depth of Josh's instability and the lengths he was willing to go to avoid losing control. To this day, Susan Powell's body has never been found, leaving countless questions unanswered. Was Josh Powell solely responsible for her disappearance, or were others involved in this tragic mystery? Experts and investigators continue to explore various theories, including the potential involvement of Stephen Powell and others. Search efforts have spanned vast areas from remote desert landscapes to abandoned mines, yet Susan remains missing. Theories about what happened to Susan range from Josh acting alone in a fit of rage to more elaborate scenarios involving Stephen Powell and possibly others within the family. Some believe that Susan's body was disposed of in a mine shaft or buried in a remote location, while others speculate that more people were involved in covering up the crime. Despite numerous searches and tips, the truth remains elusive. The case of Susan Powell remains one of the most haunting true crime mysteries. As new leads and theories emerge, we can only hope that one day the truth will come to light. The story of Susan Powell is a chilling reminder of the dark secrets that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. As we continue to seek justice for Susan and her children, we remember the importance of vigilance and support for those in troubled relationships. If you found this story as gripping as we did, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more true crime stories that uncover the dark truths behind the headlines.